Today we are going to talk about just some tips at the grocery store. So beginning when you are preparing to go shopping, I just have some tips. I always suggest to go at least once per week, especially for fruits and veggies. Those tend to go bad quickly, so you don't want an empty fridge because you had to dump out all your veggies and fruits and stuff like that. So plan it for once a week if you can. Doesn't have to be a full-blown grocery shopping trip, but even if you go and grab just those little things from time to time. So, okay, as far as putting together a grocery list, I always suggest that somebody visualizes, the grocery store that they're going to. You probably know what it looks like. And so you want to, visualize, okay, here's my veggies, that's where I'm starting. Make the list of all the veggies you need, and then you move on to fruits. What fruits do you need? Meats, same thing. That way you're not going back and forth between things, and then it just becomes kind of a pain in the ass grocery store trip. So write that down. Also put together a list of your recipes, see what ingredients you need, and then check your cupboards to see what you already have so that you're not doubling up on anything. And then this is just something I do, Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 is important to me. So I'll go through and I'll mark all the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, and make sure that I get those organic if possible. So a couple other tips to eat before you go, and then also you can also bring some water just to avoid any cravings while you're there. And also decide where you're going to splurge. So I always know that I'm going to splurge on meats and also on the Dirty Dozen, and then on eggs as well. So that's kind of where I know I'm probably going to spend a little bit more money, but I'll be looking for sales on those, and then definitely on the other things that I'm not going to buy organic too. Okay, moving on. When you arrive, definitely buy in seasons for fruits and veggies. That's always important. They're going to be cheaper. And then look for sales right away when you get into the section that you're going to. Look for sales, see what's on sale, and then compare it to your list. So it's not bad to stock up sometimes as long as they don't go bad. And then you're going to start on the perimeter of the grocery store tour always. So you fill up your cart with that stuff first, and then we move to the middle section. As far as fruits and veggies, so your produce section, I always suggest berries, apples, and melons. It's going to keep your insulin levels lower. But if you're an athlete and you choose to have banana in your diet, that's fine. Just be sure that you are not buying them brown so they go bad quickly. When it comes to veggies, stand in front of the veggie section and get the things that you know that you will just devour during that week, and then look around for some new things. If you do choose to try something new, go home right away and Google a recipe so that you use it and then it doesn't go bad and then you just wasted money. So I always suggest that try something new, but at the same time go right away and look for a recipe for that. Also, don't get overwhelmed, or not overwhelmed, but just don't get too over yams and sweet potatoes. Play around with the other carb sources as well. So there's jicama, rutabaga, you can do squash. Those are all really good carb sources, and they'll kind of keep things interesting for you as well. Don't be afraid to buy herbs and to cook with them. So ginger, turmeric, mint, parsley are all really nutritious, full of antioxidants, and can make things more interesting. And then as far as pre-cut fruits and veggies, while they are convenient, they're generally more expensive. So I always suggest to buy just the whole fruit or veggie, cut it up yourself. It's going to be saving you money, but if you are crunched for time, then that's kind of something that you're just going to have to decide if it's important or not. And then when you're done with the produce section, look at your cart and it should be very, very colorful. So that's what you're looking for there. Moving on to meats, this is somewhere that I splurge. So if that is somewhere where you splurge as well, make that decision, and then you're going to be looking for more of a grass-fed type meat. When it comes to prepackaged meats, they're better than like having a carby lunch. Not totally ideal, and that's okay. I wouldn't stress out too much about them if you're on the go and you need and you decide to buy them. Just be very aware of how much salt and sugar is in them, because they tend to have a lot of hidden salt and sugar. So as far as dairy, after this challenge, if you find that you tolerate dairy and that you would like to add it back into your diet, I always suggest to do a high quality dairy, because dairy is high in fats that are really healthy. And so you want to have healthy fats going into your body versus conventionally raised dairy. the fats from that just aren't as healthy. So and then after you're done with the parameter, which all of that is in, I suggest going to the middle, and don't feel guilty about it because there is some good stuff in there. There's some things like you're gonna need your cooking fats are in there, cut up herbs and things like that. Tons of coconut goodness, things like that as well. So when you do start to go into the middle, be sure that this is the time that you need to be reading labels, because the labels are going to be more here than on the parameter of the grocery store. So just always pick up every label and get to know it really well. And I'm not talking about the marketing advertising that they put on the front, because that will not tell you the truth about what's in it. So turn it around, look on it, look at what kind of sugars, if any, are in it. And remember, sugars are sugars no matter what, whether they're organic, whether it's cane juice, whether it's brown sugar, it's still sugar. Also, the nice thing about soy and gluten allergies is that they tend to label them a little bit more now, so that should be pretty clear to see. And then also just look at like the little black writing on the back and break it down, and if there's any really weird things on there, you might want to put it back if you don't recognize half of the ingredients. And then also look at serving size. So if you look at it and think, oh, that's just the amount of carbs that I need, but then you end up eating 2 serving sizes and you're already at 50 to 80 grams of carbs, well, that's almost all that you need in a day. So be aware of that when you are buying food in the center, like those prepackaged snacks especially. And those prepackaged snacks do add up. So if you are on a budget, I always say stick to the fruits and veggies, the beef jerky, hard-boiled eggs for snack. It's just gonna be more bang for your buck. And but if you do choose to do prepackaged snacks and things like that, that's fine. But just know that those are gonna be a little bit more expensive. So if you're on a budget, you probably don't want to stock up on a lot of those. And then when you come to checking out, you want to look at your cart, and it should be mostly produce. So once again, lots of veggies, lots of fruits, and a ton of different colors is going to be your best bet. You're going to have a good cart on that. And then also, I usually tell my clients that when they're done with their grocery list, that they've checked everything off, if they want to go back and maybe browse and look for something new or fun, that's a great time to do it. I wouldn't start doing that though, because then you can kind of get sidetracked and not get everything that you need. But hopefully these have been some helpful tips when you go to the grocery store. Feel free to add any comments below if you have questions or anything, and then I'd be happy to answer them.